Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. Coming up on today's show, Terry Fontenot should proceed with caution when it comes to taking care of their own.
And I am done with the other birds in this town. That's it. That's the tease.
And last but not least, and for the culture, Popeye's out here passing out NIL deals. Sign me up. That's all coming up next, right here on ATL Day Ones. Let's go.
This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
I want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast, Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review. Really appreciate that from you in advance. Today's episode of ATL Day Ones is brought to you by Bet Online. And if you guys want to check us out on the big screen, here's what you need to do. Download the Roku or Amazon Fire app and search for Locked On Sports Atlanta, and we'll pop right up. We are ATL Day Ones. So you can get caught up watching us on the big screen. So go ahead and check that out if that's your stilo. That's how you get down. But T, I was out at Flower Branch yesterday, end of the year press conference. And of course, you know me, I think Arthur Smith kind of expects me to ask something in regards to the offensive line because, you know, even though I'm a former defensive lineman, I'm fascinated with how the Falcons as an organization, not this particular regime, have been able to fail tremendously at drafting decent and being decent in order when it comes to drafting offensive linemen. So got a chance to specifically ask him about Kaleb McGary. And I thought it was very interesting how he kind of responded, you know, and he said, it'd be great if you could always have the same players and keep a cohesive unit. But that's not how it works sometimes. Kaleb did some really good things, but there is a business part of it. I know my eyebrows got a little peaked when I heard it, T, but what are your thoughts? Give me a Tenitra translation on what that means with Terry Fontenot.
Yeah, I think that he was honestly letting us know, hey, remember us, the team that didn't pick up the 5th-year option? Well, guess what? We're the same team that has the option to let him go if we see something else out there that's viable. And when I say viability, I mean it 2 ways. One of them you guys are already familiar with because you already know my hashtag, go defense. So
Indeed.
I'm not looking to replace Kaleb McGary, A, with a rookie, or B, utilizing a draft pick to do so. However, if there's a sneaky good veteran who is out there and available and can give you at a minimum the grade that Kaleb McGary gave us this year, because at least according to Pro Football Focus, when they aggregate run blocking and pass blocking, he did go from 68.2 to an 86. That's quite a jump.
That's a
But
big jump.
as you always say, Jarvis, it still gives you just a little bit of a pause because you never know when someone is going into a prove it year or when someone is going into a year where they're about to get paid, if that is going to be sustainable. And because the Falcons, I'll say franchise as well as, you know, Dirty Bird Nation has been really bitten recently, Deion Jones, they may be leery to say, wait a minute, is this going to be sustainable with Kaleb McGary? Or is there a guy out there in free agency who's shown year over year consistency? Because that's another word that they used over and over in that press conference, and that is consistency. So I believe that they're just leaving the door open to say, yeah, we'll take him, but if there's someone better out there, knowing how much money we have to work with in the cap, bet we're doing it.
Absolutely. And the thing about, I think the term you probably was getting at is fat and happy. We don't need no more fat happy folks because, like Lord knows, Deion Jones, it was a steady decline once he signed that big boy deal to be one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL at that time. So
yes,
that's why I say the Falcons should hold true to it. Like make that difficult decision, make it a business decision, and not get caught up in, you know, because at the end of the day, they didn't draft him. So I think there's no emotion attached to it. So I think that's what that means as well. When you're talking about it's going to be a business decision made, and he always talked about how they're not going to negotiate in the media which I
Right.
thought was kind of interesting. Why he said that, it was like, ain't nobody asking you to negotiate. You gonna sign him, shoot. You know what I mean? So, but I think at the end of the day, you got to look at the progression, not
Mhm.
progression, the sense of urgency that he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
this year in this offseason, coming back, making sure he got right, making sure he got stronger, making sure he changed his body. And, those some of the things that you look for when you're talking about rookie offensive linemen. Because a lot of the times those guys come into the league a certain way. There's still room to get better. There's still
Yeah.
room to improve. But my concern is, and Arthur Smith is talking about this offense being balanced. True enough,
Mhm.
yeah, they were able to do their thing running the football, but
Mhm.
you see when they had when they had to drop back to throw that thing, Desmond Ritter, even at the end of the season,
Yeah.
had to deal with some pressure, and a lot of it,
Mhm.
not a lot of it, a good number of it was
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
from that right side. So,
Yeah.
those are some of the things I feel like Fontenot has to weigh when you're talking about what's that number look like, and I think that
Mhm.
you got to proceed with caution when you're talking
Yeah.
about that, because they
Yeah.
can't afford to overpay their own guys, because I know they say they want to take care of their own, but
Mhm.
y'all didn't draft them. So, hey, like
Yeah.
I would not be upset if y'all like, man, dang, Kaleb McGary walked out the door. Those words will never come out of my mouth, because at the end of the day, the dude didn't really take this thing seriously until they said, you know what? We cool on that 5th-year option. We cool on you getting that big boy raise in your last year with this team. So now, like, go ahead and go on out there and see what you can get. And then, hey, here's the number. If you
Mhm.
don't like it, go in there and see what you can go get. So I'm cool. I'm cool on that for sure when it comes to moving on, if that's the case,
Yeah.
especially when the general manager talking about making business decisions. Now,
Mhm.
and speaking of another business decision, how about this? If the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs make it to the AFC Championship,
Mhm.
they will be playing at Mercedes Benz Stadium. You know what? To be the home of the busiest airport in the world, and the one that's most accessible to pretty much anybody in the world,
Mhm.
I think that probably is a pretty good decision
Yeah.
for the league to kind of go ahead and make that concession
Yeah.
for the Buffalo Bills, being that they didn't get a chance to finish the game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Exactly. And I think too, from a travel perspective, just adding to that, when you look at Kansas City, which obviously is going to be just a little bit of a closer flight or
Right.
shorter flight than that of Buffalo, but it's about as close to a midpoint as you're going to get as it relates to NFL markets, because the next one over that you would choose would be a Charlotte, meaning a team that absolutely, doesn't have any dog in the fight, because I mean, Jacksonville, the Jaguars are in the playoffs.
Right.
So projecting forward, Atlanta, Charlotte. As I always say, people love to say Charlotte and Houston are the next Atlanta. Not. So,
Nah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Why do I need to give it to Charlotte when I can just put it in the A? And also look at the Benz. I mean,
Yes,
if you're going to put something like that game, which obviously is going to be another marquee matchup between those two teams, why wouldn't
indeed.
you put it in the largest venue, pick the largest venue out there and the most modern venue? Because the only other one, again, that could compete would be Jerry World. And Jerry
Mhm.
World is, at least for one round, going to be busy with their own
Yeah,
postseason run.
probably one round. Yeah, that's kind of how that goes down. Only one round. That's how it goes down for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, sorry, Dad. Big time Cowboys fan, by the way. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's unfortunate. We pick our troubles. Like I say, when it comes to drinking alcohol, pour your own troubles. My dad picked his own trouble by coming to a Dallas Cowboys fan. How about that?
Indeed,
But
indeed.
yeah, I think one of the other interesting things that's going on in the football world. How about this? Kevin Warren, who
Yeah.
was the Big Ten commissioner, who name was in a lot of people's mouths when he decided to cancel the season in 2020
Yeah.
during the height of COVID, and then he
Mhm.
made a decision. He kind of he learned from his wicked ways, and decided to play a shortened season. But I think one of the big things that he was able to accomplish was the fact that that big boy TV deal that he was able to work out contract. He was able to work out and get that bad boy going. So now he is decided he got a new job. He
Mhm.
will be the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. Obviously, they're trying to do some things with the stadium,
Mhm.
and they got a lot going on the field as well, or not a lot going on. And they will
Right.
be picking at the top of the draft and trying to get that thing out. He and Ryan Poles going to see if they can get that thing figured out up in Chicago. But shout out to Kevin Warren making big moves, big boy executive.
Oh yeah, that is really, I mean, that's powerful. Like, it's interesting because when I saw it kind of flash across, I clicked on the button because I was like, that Kevin Warren?
Yeah.
That Kevin Warren.
Yeah.
And so I go back to something that you just said that's interesting to me because, yeah, it was one of those things where he made the decision, we're canceling football for this season due to COVID. And, everybody in the Big Ten, parents, boosters, players had a meltdown, right? So
Mostly
really,
boosters.
yeah, exactly. I don't think he learned from his wicked ways. I think those boosters threatened him, and it's
Man,
like, yeah, and then those presidents came on top of that and said, "Hey, look,
let's
we
figure
got
it out.
butts. Yeah, we
Let's
need
sit down
butts
at
in
the
seats."
table. Let's
Exactly.
go to the
So,
negotiate table.
yeah, like, right. This is not up for the discussion. You're going to do this, but I like it because it's exciting. Because I had an opportunity to speak with Terry Fontenot last year during the Black Business Symposium, and he talked about that very thing of adding people of color and having those different perspectives at
Yes.
the table, right? So I believe that puts us up to now 4 GMs in the NFL, and that's pretty impressive because if there was going to be any leap, you know how we talk about coaches making the
Yeah.
leap from the college football ranks to the professional ranks. If there's going to be a conference that you're going to come from overseeing to a football franchise, it's going to pretty much be the Big Ten, the SEC, maybe the ACC. So I
Yeah.
do believe he definitely has the credentials. And like you say, for anyone who can negotiate and leverage the kind of television contract that he was able to for that conference, I definitely believe that he's somebody who's going to do well. And I believe that this organization is finally figuring out, like, wait a minute. Yes, they went wholesale in giving up just about any and everybody who wanted to be gone. But I think now that they've done it, they're like, okay, we've cleaned shop. Now it's time to, as we say here in Georgia, hunker down and really reset the table for one of the most storied franchises in the league.
Absolutely. And I think that when you're talking about him having experience working with several NFL teams prior to becoming the Big Ten commissioner, I think that from an experience factor, the name factor, being able to get things done, I think the Chicago Bears their prayers are answered. And I think they got the right guy for the job if they're trying to get things back on track. If you're trying to get back on track, as far as winning some money, how about this? Go to betonline.net because it is the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info from all the latest odds, contests, and player props. You name it. They got each and everything that you absolutely need. You're trying to put some money on this college basketball season because you lost your pants for the NFL. You didn't make any money. You lost money. Your wife is about to kick you out the house, and you got to figure out how to get this money back. Go to Bet Online because they got all the information you need, right? It's the best spot for all your latest sports developments, including podcasts and reviews for all your leagues this season. Don't look at me like that, T. This is real stuff right here. Like it's going down. You know people losing their pants out here. Bet Online is here to help. They're here to help you. So you can get everything you absolutely need. You guys come to us each and every day for all your ATL sports needs. Because this is the Monday through Friday podcast. We got you.
Yes.
BetOnline got the podcast as well. They got all the info so you can make you some money. So, head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device and check in on all this information so you can know that BetOnline is where the game starts.
Yes. Well, Jarvis, I don't know if the game ever really started for the Hawks until the second half in Wednesday's ultimate loss to the Bucks. Of course, that was a 114-105 loss. But when you look at it on the surface, doesn't look like a bad loss, right? Doesn't look like a bad beat, a 9-point loss. But when you begin to dig down into how they got there, in terms of going down by as many as 24 very early in that game, allowing the Bucks to start off 11-0. Somebody calls it an 11-0 run. And I'm like, how can it be a run when all you did was score 11 points out of the tip? No, what it is that other team, that home team, it had too much home cooking, too many wings, too much mac and cheese, too much something, because they came out, Jarvis, looking like a team that was still fatigued from a road trip that ended 4 days ago, right? Now 5 days ago. So with that team, you can be excited, maybe even encouraged, shall I say, The fact that they were able to whittle that 24-point lead down and turn it into a 2-point lead later in the fourth quarter. I think it was about 4 minutes left in regulation, 103-101, Hawks up, and then you know what happened. 10-0 run. Now, that was a run. 10-0 run by the Bucks, unanswered. Really was like Jrue Holiday kind of went on the run by his darn self. So it just, right. So in the words of that great philosopher, Jarvis Davis, what is we going to do with these folks?
I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I don't know, T. Like, I'm just gonna be honest about it because, like, let me take my professional broadcaster stuff off right for 1 second. Like, I'm gonna be Jarvis for a minute. Let me speak on this thing. Like, because here's the thing. Like, from the Trae Young, not showing up for the game, sick, quote unquote, tweeting it out, and then live tweeting as the game going along, to John Collins dealing with all the trade rumors and talking about it at any chance he can get, and just like Dejounte Murray, like it's just a lot of crap going on. Travis Slank stepping down, Trae Young and Nate McMillan. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of this doggone team. I'm tired of trying to be professional about this thing. I'm done. Like, I am done with this team for now. Like, until they make a major move, a major decision, saying, hey, here's what we're about to do. We're about to tear this thing down. We're about to start over. All right, cool. I want this organization to have some damn direction, T, because I'm so tired of talking about the team, because it's just like Travis Slank piled on move after move after move, which I kind of agree with. I thought that Dejounte Murray was going to think out was going to work out. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it just seems like there's no leadership here. Like, just from whether it be the coach or whether it be the person in the organization, and I feel like it's moving towards everybody bound down to trade. That's nasty to me. I don't like all that, but I'm just at a point where I'm just super done with this team. I'm so done with them.
And I think that's a great point, because the Atlanta fan base is now starting to experience what some of the other fan bases have experienced over the years, which is you now have a situation where you're wondering, okay, ownership, what kind of situation is this? Like, are you all dictating what happens with your franchise, or are your players dictating it, or a player? And other franchises, other cities have gone through it, but I think now it has finally kind of seemingly reared its ugly head here in Atlanta. And it's very tough to watch because, like we asked the question offline and we'll ask it now on air. You look at Dejounte Murray, remember all of the excitement. Oh my God, we finally got the 2 to the 1-2 punch that we need, the true Robin to the Batman that we need. Wow, we got him. But at this point, you wonder, is the trade really working? And I don't think that's Dejounte's fault, by the way.
No, I don't. Not
at all. That the trade is not.
But guess who asked for him? Guess who brought it up? 11. Yeah. 11. Yeah. Number 11. You asked for this. Right. You asked for this dude, and you're not making it work.
Right.
And you know why he's not making it work? Because when he stands playing, quote unquote, playing off ball, he's just standing on the line, standing on the doggone 3-point line. Ooh, y'all go and do y'all thing. All right, cool. All right, Dejounte, you bring the ball up. All right, now it's my turn. It's just like it's just no cohesiveness whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
it
seems
last
like
night was an example.
It is a perfect example. Hey, Bo starting to hit a shot. All right, cool. Whoop, whoop. Right. Dejounte Murray come up the court. Boop, doop, 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 doop. Here you go, Bo. Do your thing. Figure it out. Right. DeAndre, you do it. It's your turn. Go, DeAndre.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was just so. It's just ugly basketball. And
I
will say it again. I'm done with watching that crap. Like, make a decision.
And the reason you can call it ugly is because you've seen the beauty of it. That's the biggest source of frustration. We go back to the Falcons, right? And we reminded people, hey, you need to give Dean Pease, when he was the DC, you need to give Dean Pease a break. You need to give Arthur Smith a break and Terry Fontenot a break, because collectively they worked with what they were confined to working with. They were confined by, primarily the salary cap. And then ultimately you do what you can with the players, almost to the point of overachieving 2 seasons in a row. Hawks, you don't have an overachieving problem. You have an underachieving problem, in that people are starting to get tired of kind of giving you a pass and saying, okay, this happened and that happened. Because like you said, DeAndre, and somebody pointed that out to me, and I went back and I looked at the tape and a couple of revisits of a couple of plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just already called it. I want to call it out again. Someone brings the ball up, makes one pass, and then the ball gets shot. Why? Like why are you shooting 6 seconds into the clock?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. If
Yeah.
nothing else, can we try to keep the ball out of the hands of the Bucks? And not even Giannis. You did your job. You kept him to like 7, 9 points, whatever. But what about the others? The others that torched you on the perimeter for way too long to begin the game before you figured it out. So that's one of those things where you look at it and you say to yourself, while Dejounte Murray not meeting expectations is disappointing, I can't point to him as the problem, which then takes me back to what will the Hawks do to right the ship for the last 41 games? You got to make a move. Like, I don't see how you can't make a move. I'm not saying I know how, where, and how you're going to make the move, because again, word is still on the street as the John Collins rumors came back in the last 24 hours. But word is still the Hawks just refuse to give up what other teams want, or they want too much for, from those teams. So I get that. But at some point, you're going to have to concede, or like you said, I don't know if you blow it up this year, but you're darn close to it, because in a minute, you're going to be looking for everything. You're going to be looking for a whole new team, a revamp of a team, a revamp of a coach.
Shooting
That's
guard.
that's the other piece. And even and you can say, okay, yeah, it's a league where the leagues don't fire players, they fire coaches. But as we've said on this show, fire him and do what? I mean, yeah, you can put Prunty in as an interim, but that doesn't get to the core of the problem. That would just be a Band-Aid.
Yeah. So that's why I say, I need somebody to come out here and make a doggone informed decision as to where this doggone organization is headed. Because, like you said, Band-Aids are done. And like I said, the more and more I look at it, the Dejounte Murray move is looking like a Band-Aid move to me. And
it didn't have to be, man.
It didn't have to be. It
never have been. This is an all-star we're talking about.
Absolutely not. Because when you think about what the deficiencies were for this team last year, was defense. And they become a better defensive team. But now the offense ain't damn working. So it's just
can't. And what movie was that? That where they call the guy can't get right?
Yeah, can't get right. Yeah, I played with a lot of them when I played college ball, and even when I played in the arena league. Like,
from that movie, one of my favorite movies from Life, the movie.
Exactly.
Right. It's like a virtual can't get right not every single night, but every other night. Try 22 times. 22 times. And really, honestly, Jarvis, it was more than that. Because even though that record says 19 and 22, within that 19 is also the challenge.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Fight amongst yourselves. Like, oh, let's be sorry. No, we're going to be sorry tonight. Let's a sorry team. So let's beat the sorry team. And then, hey, let's get up for this big game. And then can't even get up for the big game no more. Like, that's the thing. Like, with Trae, when the lights on, I always stand firm on that. When the lights were on, Trae was there. He going to ball. Like, even if it involves, like, hey, saying, I'm the only person out there. I'm about to play hero ball. Yeah. You ain't doing that no more.
Nope. Like, we just, it's one of the most perplexing things, other than for different reasons and from different spaces, there's been a tap out, right? So why Trae is tapped out and what it looks like is one thing. And then you've got Dejounte and his tap out. Then you got John, and then you got Nate. It's like there are so many different tentacles to it that it would be very difficult to put it all in one space. However, that's why you have Landry Fields and Tony Wrestler, and they've got 41 games to figure it out. Now, that is the big news here in Atlanta, where we're scratching our heads and trying to make it make sense. But if you were to check out Locked On Sports today, they're probably reacting to something that makes a whole lot of sense, which is if the Chiefs and the Bills get to a neutral site game, they're going to be playing it right here in the A. So I'm sure they want to react to that because A, you want to see that showdown again, and B, who doesn't want to come to Atlanta? So if you want to check that out, check them out. They might also have some reaction to Kevin Warren being hired as an African-American GM, adding to the diversity amongst those front office ranks here in the NFL. You want to hear about it? You want to see it? Check them out at YouTube, on the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget, they'll find something to give their take of the day on, just like we do here on For the Culture. So finish up watching us, and then once you finish with us, you can check out Locked On Sports today.
And Locked On Sports Atlanta family, please listen up. I have a special announcement for you right here. Like, hey, we kind of a big deal on this show, ATL Day Ones. I'm Jarvis. She's Tenitra. If you want to get in contact with us, how about you do this? Go ahead and shout out ATL Day Ones at gmail.com. Taking all your comments, recommendations, all that stuff, critiques. We check it out right there. ATL Day Ones at gmail.com. And it'll probably be one of us. More than likely, probably be me because, Tenitra has a lot of jobs. And, one of them is a sideline reporter for the College Park Skyhawks. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get it out because she has so many. I was thinking about the other one she has. Like, we're gonna talk about the other ones. That's personal. So, but yeah, check that out. ATL Day Ones at gmail.com, and make sure you download us wherever you get your podcast. Now, T, this is for the culture. It is the intersection between sports, entertainment, and the culture. And sometimes whatever the hell we want to talk about, because that's just how we get down on this show. Today is no different. And when we talking about the Popeyes, the P, as I like to call it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that 2-piece spicy with the red beans and rice tea. You know what I'm saying? Like that biscuit. Give me that an extra pack of honey. As you all can see, I used to frequent Popeyes a lot. But when you talk about Popeyes passing out NIL deals, and peep this, right? This is what's the cool part about it. Nurse Colin. You probably don't even know who that is. Nurse Colin is a young man who he was spotted at a Popeyes back in the day. And now this was going on this is a little while back now for all you young folks. This was when Vine was popping off. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Lil Terrio. Lil Terrio, your little young brother, big old dude, always dancing, got his shirt off and doing all crazy stuff on the Vine. Do it for the Vine, right? But somebody mistook him for Lil Terrio. He actually wasn't Lil Terrio. And then the guy was shooting the video of the little kid. And the guy probably maybe in his 20s and so, hey, there go Lil Terrio. And he put the camera on him. And the little dude was kind of looking at him like side eye like this, like, dude, why are you talking to me?
Exactly.
This is what a 10-year-old or 8-year-old is supposed to do, right? So obviously from then on, it went viral. And a lot of people were using that GIF or meme or whatever, or meme, or however, if you want to talk about it, use that as responses. And, because people look at people side eye, so they use that. Right. And it became really popular. Now the young man is playing football at a D2 school.
Yeah.
And the man kind of gained a nice little following for himself. He's I think like 60,000 followers on IG, and there's potentially that he might get an NIL deal with Popeyes too. What's up with that? That's sweet. That gotta be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, especially if you can luck out and get the money and the food. Like that would be now granted. He should
talking about a double blessing.
Right. Except you better check his contract and make sure there's a clause in there that says the Popeyes of his choosing, because every location is not equal. Just remember that
all Popeyes are
not created equal. Just make sure, right? Make sure your guy, your NIL agent, your representative, or whomever is helping you to negotiate, get your dollars, but also you choose your location, because there are some zip codes you should never buy Popeyes in.
Absolutely. And I think that the one that you should choose, more than likely you might get robbed. So yeah, I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because just how I put Popeye, and we're trying to help you out. Like, we want you to make good choices in life. If you want the real Popeyes, you go to the one where I never forget this. I know we got to move on, but I got to tell this story. So one night, I'm making one of my late night runs, to Popeyes. It's like right off Western Chapel. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you where else. I want y'all to know where I live and all that good stuff. So it was on my way home. Stop at the Popeyes. They about to get ready to close. I already know what time they close. And I was like, all right, it's 9:57. Let me see if they could turn on that microphone. Welcome to Popeyes. I was like, yes, they said it. Bet. I was like, all right, I need a 2-piece spicy, red beans and rice, biscuit. Make sure you drop that honey in that thing, and I need a sweet tea. They were like, all right, $6.79 or what, $9.99 or whatever it costs nowadays. I pull around, I pull around. It's real dark, right? Like no lights on. They already turned the lights off on the joint. They was like, all right, here we go. They looked at me. I pulled up to the drive-thru. I looked at the dude. The dude was just like, we ain't got what you ordered, but I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh,
He was like, but we got this stuff and we ain't gonna do nothing but throw it away. I was like, yes. I ain't even wait for it to finish. The dude gave me 2 boxes of chicken tea. Had to be at least 20 pieces of chicken in each box. I'm sitting up here like, why did it just turn into Christmas? You know what I'm saying? I was like, somebody wanted me to be fat tonight. And I'm just like, why? Don't do it to your boy like that. So the guilt in me as I drove off, happy as I'll get out, I got me about 2-3 pieces about that bad boy. I ain't gonna lie. I'm keeping funky with y'all. But like I drove her to the gas station because, I know I'm in Decatur, right? I know I can find the homeless man somewhere begging for some bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no money for you, home team.
Right.
But guess what? I got some chicken, dog. And you should have seen the look on that man's face when I gave him that box of chicken tea. Because I know my area. I know my folks.
Yeah.
The dog gonna looked at me. He was like, I'm like, yeah, man, it's real, dog. That dude walked off. That man probably ate on that box of chicken probably about the next 48 hours. Like, but yeah,
Probably.
that was like, that's why I say go to the hood if you want to go to a good Popeyes.
People, so sorry to tell it to you, but that's what you need to do. And be prepared to wait. You might have an attitude or 2 or 10. They probably will make you wait 17 minutes for 1 piece of chicken.
They give you a laundry list of what they don't have first.
Exactly. And they're going to be out of honey. And any condiment that you want, they're probably going to be out of it. But the chicken you get will be darn good.
Amen.
PSA from ATL Day Ones. Good.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys come back. Well, thank you for making ATL Day was your first listen. Make sure you guys check out Locked On Sports today. They got a lot of good stuff going on. As we did, our For the Culture. Sometimes it goes off the rails. It happens. But sometimes, when you get that take of the day, it might be something that can rev you up and let you know what's going on in the world today. You can find it wherever you found this podcast. You can download it there as well. Make sure y'all come back. Now you're here.